Welcome to Tokyosaurus. So what's up in Japan? So the author of Attack on Titan, Hajime Isayama, recently did an NHK interview, and in it he shared his inspiration behind Attack on Titan and told us exactly where his concepts of Attack on Titan came from. They were extremely personal and connected to his real life, which is pretty surprising seeing how Attack on Titan is so completely out there in its ideas and its world building. Personally, the only question I wanted him to answer was what in the effing heck just happened in the latest chapter of Attack on Titan. Why would you do that, Isayama? What purpose does that serve? Especially with the way it happened. No spoilers though, for those of you who are up to date, you know what I mean. But let's not spoil it down in the comments below for the anime watchers. Continuing on with the actual interview though, Isayama revealed that his inspiration for the world of Attack on Titan is actually where he grew up in Hita, Japan, which is a rural town in the middle of nowhere pretty much, and the town is actually surrounded by a wall of mountains, and Isayama himself grew up wondering if there might be monsters hiding behind those walls. But the real inspiration is much deeper than just growing up in a town surrounded by big mountains. Isayama grew up in this isolated town that felt sort of disconnected with the rest of the world, so when he was a teen he began to feel a sort of uneasiness and decided to leave his hometown in order to change himself. And he was very specific about his feelings. His drive to leave town and to go out into the world, specifically Tokyo, wasn't because he had big ambitions, it wasn't because of money, or fame, or career. The drive was in his sense of inferiority, and he was really frustrated with that feeling that brewed inside of him all those years he stayed in his rural hometown. And so, when he began to write Attack on Titan, that feeling was the first sort of theme that we see sort of pop up in the story. Oppression, the feeling of being stuck, and eventually release from that oppression and frustration. I mean, at the very beginning of Attack on Titan, with Eren staring helplessly while the Titans wrecked his town, the feeling of frustration and anger and not being able to do anything about it, and eventually turning and devoting all of that energy to change his reality. Now, we know exactly where Eren's blueprint came from. It was basically Isayama during his teenage years, acting on his desire to change himself even when he felt like his surroundings or the world was working against him. As he put it himself, it was a vague, unexplainable frustration that he eventually channeled into Attack on Titan. And it wasn't just in his teenage years. He mentioned before in a BBC interview that he became depressed at some point during the time he was trying to become a manga artist in Tokyo, while he was getting rejected left and right when he showed Attack on Titan to different publishers. He was told repeatedly that his story was satisfactory, but his drawing skills were definitely not. But as we know, he definitely did not give up at that point. Or maybe he did, but either way he pulled himself back up and continued to work at it. And eventually a publisher picked it up and it grew into the phenomenon it is today. Now, the next part for me was the most interesting. Isayama also revealed that there is no particular message or agenda he wants to bring out with Attack on Titan. There's no grand message of friendship, no wisdom he's trying to pass on. Instead, his goal is to express the raw anger of the victims of a tragedy and how it can drive people to aggression. While Titans represent things to be frustrated with. These Titans wander aimlessly, wreaking havoc in every direction they go, and it's in their lack of reasoning that humans are puzzled and angered by. Just like how tragedies may happen in real life without any sort of reason. Isayama's goal is to express those feelings to everyone reading it, so that they too can feel what he feels and perhaps get a better understanding of what those feelings means to them. Everyone encounters things that they are frustrated by every single day. And often our first response to this frustration is anger, which is why it's so easy to connect with the characters in Attack on Titan. We understand that feeling of helplessness or the feeling of being stuck that Isayama is trying to express. But to see all these characters band up to fight off their frustrations and to take action to change themselves as Isayama did, instead of just deciding that they're stuck and giving up, I think that part is the key to why so many people connect with Attack on Titan on such a personal level, but maybe can't explain why. As we see Eren grow, I think it's also reflective of Isayama's own journey from the angsty, angry kid that Eren was at the beginning of the series, the one to always use anger as a first response, to the calm, collected, and even more determined Eren he is now. Isayama is essentially taking us on a journey through his own inner life in a weird way. Isayama also mentioned that Titans sort of resemble drunk people in real life, but Titans, more than anything else, represent an insurmountable challenge for us to overcome. Sometimes we get frustrated by things we may think are impossible to solve, but that doesn't mean we should stop trying to solve them. So that was pretty much the interview. Isayama at the very end said that with the climax of Attack on Titan series coming, he will work harder than ever to give it the ending it deserves. Season 3 for Attack on Titan is also coming, which he himself is looking forward to watch when it comes out. When I first started reading Attack on Titan, something just drew me to the series. It wasn't just because characters were dropping like flies, and I just wanted to see who was going to be next on the list like Game of Thrones. There was something different different about this story. Now, I know it was because the story came from a very intimate and personal place from the author's mind and soul. And that is what I think truly puts Attack on Titan on another level in the world of anime or manga. Anyways, that is my take on Isayama's latest interview on Attack on Titan. What did you guys think of it, and do you guys see Attack on Titan in a different light now? As usual, let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to thumbs up before you leave, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications if you want to be updated with the latest that's going on in Japan. And I'll see you guys in the next one.